May now I request esteemed speaker Dr. Preeti S. Desai ma'am to come on the dais. And also I invite Dr. Prem Kumar sir to present a bouquet to our winner. Respected speaker. Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. Preeti Desai ma'am to kindly come forward and deliver her insightful address. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome her with a warm round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, I convey my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Dave sir for providing me this opportunity to address the esteemed educated gathering to put forth my idea regarding why IKS need to be taught or trained to the present two important generations whom we are going to address in the coming days. So fortunately or unfortunately, many a time I choose such topics which are either very controversial or either they will be addressing a very critical issue. So this time, all of us are aware about Gen Z movement, a kind of a movement which is happening in the nation in the name of Gen Z. It's quite, sometimes it is interesting, at the same time, it is quite disturbing how these Gen Z people are being manipulated. And so, though Gen Z people are very less here, but then the people who are sitting over here belongs to the previous two categories, that is Gen Y and Gen X, that is millennial as well as Gen X, right? So, fortunately we belong to Gen Y or millennial category, and there are few professors who belong to Gen X category. We feel proud saying that we know both the things regarding the culture in which we have brought up and what we are going to deliver to our next generation. But then it's not only enough to know that what we need to deliver to our next generation, but how to deliver is also equally important. The main purpose of any teacher is to reach our student, not that whatever I am having just am throwing on them. So we need to reach them, whether they belong to any kind of stream, whether it is management, commerce, science, this one we call AI, ML, whatever it is. We need to reach them. And reaching these two categories is very difficult. Being a mother of two kids, one belongs to Gen Z and one belongs to Gen Alpha. Gen Z students or Gen Z people who are born between 1997 to 2012, and Gen Alpha, people who are born after 2013, and you could see the gap between the definition of the generation also. Now the Gen Beta is also coming up, Generation Beta, who are already known for excessive usage of technology and adoption of the technology. Right? So in this particular kind of a word, reaching them with our own narrative method of teaching won't serve the purpose. Right? So we need to adopt such things which are going to reach them and which they can practice. Okay. So many of the audience who are sitting here, they might be aware about one online platform which is known as Netflix and Amazon Prime. Am I right? Yes. In fact, there was one series by the name Titan Made in India. Anyone who is aware about that particular series? Titan Made in India. Right? There is one character by the name Justice Desai. How many of you have heard about him? Right? Nothing to do with my surname, with that person's surname. Sir is, Justice Desai is a legendary person and very small person right now. But then the what important thing what I learned from that series is one important word, that is demonstration. Okay, so he never believed in explanation of the things. He always believed in demonstration. And throughout the series, this word demonstration was repeated many times. And the best thing what I saw regarding demonstration is he was supposed to select an engineer who is going to manufacture the wristwatches which were already in the market, but then they should be presented in a different manner. What he did is he tried the reverse engineering process. Right? In a hall of around a bigger hall wherein he just asked people, engineers, to dismantle the ceiling fan and rearrange the ceiling fan. Whoever fan operates after rearrangement, they will be selected for that particular project. That was his intention. And most comedy scenes were there wherein people, when they started dismantling that, at that time itself they fell down and they collapsed. And ultimately, there was only one person whose fan would started running. Okay, him they selected for that particular project. But then that person's success again, it was dependent on his own experience. Right? Because in his house, whenever some electronic goods went for repair, it was he or his father used to repair them. Right? So with that experience, he used. He just exercised his expertise and got the success in that particular assignment. Okay, that is one thing, demonstration. So the present generation needs demonstration, not the theoretical approach. We can't go on teaching them that this is not good, this is bad, don't touch it. You go on teaching them or talking them for hours together. They will listen, but they will become passive listeners. Passive listener in the sense, ಈ ಕಿವಿಯಿಂದ ಕೇಳೋದು ಈ ಕಿವಿಯಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಾಕೋದು. ಅಥವಾ that part between, the tunnel between the right eye and left eye is so clear or so what you call hurdle free that they don't even take single alphabet. Right? So again it is coming from my experience, my own experience only I am telling you. So that word fascinated me. Again, as I told, there are two kids who belong to both the categories. For everything, if I say that you should eat protein-rich food, the next question comes is why. Okay, if I say particular thing, then how? How it is going to help me? Okay, then the how factor explaining is very difficult. Okay, so but then after explaining how, when I am going to get the result? When I am going to witness the result? How to examine my performance before and after? Okay, that is a question, and I'm sure very few people who are sitting here, though they belong to Gen Z also, they have that particular mentality. Right? You just don't teach us what to do, you just tell us what is the result of this thing and how to do this. Okay, that's where I think I stress upon empirical research. Empirical research and just showing them the evidences, like how you can get benefited from Indian knowledge system. And this series of NEP to 2020, the main intention of the NEP 2020, if I am not wrong, is that delivering or disseminating the knowledge of Indian knowledge system to the maximum community so that they can practice it. Okay, I blame many a time the Gen X and the millennial generation for destroying or not using the IKS properly. We are the people who stress more for industrialization. We are the people who stress more on what we call improvement of technology, usage of technology, maximum usage of technology, totally dependence on technology. Then technology is holding our hand now. We are the slaves of technology. Right? So then how the responsible usage of technology can actually help the Gen Z and Gen Alpha in what we call improving their day-to-day life. If you say theoretically, they will not approve it. Okay, you need to provide proper examples. Just an example again, coming to our day-to-day activities only. All of us know how to lit the diya. Deepa achcha, right? So then, if you keep that particular bhakti for longer duration in the oil for 2 days, 3 days, or 4 days, by the time 5th day you lit the same diya, the consumption of oil is more, and the life of that bhakti is become less. What is the reason? What is the reason? Then I just narrated my son saying that because it has overliving its life. Overliving its life. So now it can't tolerate or it cannot be that, it don't have that much of strength to give the life. Right? So such kinds of demonstration and examples are required. Now coming to one more thing, why empirical researches are required in Indian knowledge system. All of us know the difference between Ayurveda and the present allopathic medicine. I think 100% of the population who are sitting here, they know that allopathy was not at all meant for we call preventive approaches or something like that. That was only introduced as an emergency medicine. Right? It doesn't work for prevention and all those things. Nowadays we have come out with protein supplements, vitamin supplements, this, that and all those things. They are again supplements. Right? But then in the Indian knowledge system, in Ayurveda, we know that how certain herbs and we call homely available ingredients can keep you healthy. Okay? And even during the COVID-19 time, many of our home remedies work. Okay? There we have proved that in the Indian knowledge system, whatever the knowledge we had, it was existing well before the same thing was used and developed in the Western nations. Okay. Many of you might know, I will not dwell into scientific approaches, like I am not going to touch upon Newton's and all those things. But then some of you might have heard about Maslow's hierarchy theory. Hierarchy theory means when does a person think about basic needs, after that what he desires and what is his ultimate need. Okay, that was readily accepted by all of us, including the Indians. But then the same thing was told by our ancestors, saying that first of all you look for your bread and butter. Then our system of culture says that safeguard yourself first, then take care of others. Right? The same thing was told by our people only, but then we never trusted it. Why? Because we have never tried it. We have never experimented it. Right? So that might be one of the reasons why many of our IKS knowledge is becoming what we call only for in the books. Okay, not in practice. Of course, nowadays many experiments might have done, but then still validations are required. So what we can do on Gen Z and Generation Alpha is that we need to give them such training or such thing, or that theories we need to apply on them, and then we need to see the result, whether it is acceptable or not. Say for example, here I have listed certain okay. Why empirical research matters in Indian knowledge system? There are certain things. Does practicing Nishkama Karma reduce workplace stress? Workplace stress is something where all of us are experiencing. Though we say that my organization is best, one among the best organizations, but still we are facing it. But then when we depend upon this, might be some level of stress can be reduced. But then how to practice it? That should be tested empirically. How you are going to test? You can take a case study of an organization, then narrate these principles and ask them to practice them. What is the end result? You give it as a proof. Then it could be acceptable. Can Bhagavad Gita based leadership improve ethical decision making? Yes. This could be tested using certain organizations. What they are following, whether they are depending on Western theories or this IKS. Then can Ayurveda inspired lifestyle practices improve students' cognitive performance? They are all very complicated tasks, but then they need to be performed. Right? So that we can document the thing saying that yes, this particular knowledge is tested and prove that it is going to work. So then we can say that our attempt is to make Indian knowledge system a common knowledge, not something which is available to a particular set of people, particular community and all those things. It should become common. Everyone should practice it. Then only the success of IKS could be observed. So this Gen Z and Gen Alpha, the context of IKS research is here because they are under the heavy influence of artificial intelligence, social media, virtual learning, and digital entertainment. If I am not wrong, yes, I could see here, even not only Gen Z, but then Gen X and Gen Millennial, they are also addicted to digital entertainment. Okay, always connected behavior, right? We can't even stay away from our mobile phone for 5 minutes, right? It's very difficult. Though we know that there is no such, what they call, life-threatening event which is going to happen if you don't use a mobile phone. And when time mobile use ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಜೀವ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. But then we are addicted. Every 5 minutes we use it. But then if I say this thing, no one will accept it. We need to show the experiment what happens if you use continuously your mobile phone for 1 hour. What happens to your fingers? What happens to your mind? What happens to your eyes? Somebody should experiment it and show the results. Then they will accept it. Okay. The things might have already started. Social media, again, on social media, all of us know that many things which are coming on social media may not be true. But still we comment, we just try to follow that particular page and all. Then again, since they are influenced by all these things, we need to find such concepts in IKS which are going to tell us addiction of these things are going to deteriorate, damage our health, mental well-being as well as physical well-being. Okay, so they are loaded with information also. They have huge information. But then how to use that information again is a question. And when you don't know something, either you put your effort in using it properly, or it may go the other way. They may misuse it. Okay, so climate anxiety is also there. You would have seen the weather, temperature around 25 years back in Day2 city, and now it is around 1.5%, 1.5 degree extra, right? So what is the reason behind this thing? Again, narration won't work, experiments does work, right? Then for example, we can conduct studies whether yoga can promote the mental resilience, right? Nowadays, even take whichever generation, we are not ready to give time for healing of a certain wound or cure of a certain disease, right? And as we know, Ayurveda takes certain time to cure our disease, but then that is permanent. Okay, but then you go to allopathy. ಜ್ವರ ಬಂತು ಹೋಗಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸಿಟಮಲ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ 3 hours ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ವರ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ again it will return, right? But then if you just develop a strategy to work on your own well-being from the childhood, this may not affect it, right? Meditation enhances attention. Whether it is true or not, again we need to prove. Of course, meditation enhances attention is the well-known fact, right? But then how meditation is practiced, again it is a question. Again, in the Western manner, they might be practicing the meditation and all those things. So then Nishkama Karma, then Aparigraha, then Dharma support, ethical decision making, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, then Panchabhuktas, all these things need to be tested and solid proof should be given to them that they are going to work. And one of the best way to provide all these things is through your intellectual property. You publish papers, you obtain IPR rights through which you can just put your knowledge into this particular reservoir, right? You might have seen the controversy of using the haldi, right? Whether it is patented to India or other nations, it's a big question, right? Why did the controversy arise? We didn't document it, right? So all these things need to be documented properly. And now the biggest thing what we are witnessing is regarding environmental social governance, right? ESG practice is inspired by Indian knowledge philosophy. We need to encourage this Gen Z and Gen Alpha people to go back to that knowledge system, how they practiced this particular thing. And if I am not wrong, yesterday there was one speaker who spoke about temples architecture as well as town planning. Okay, at that time itself, town planning was so solid, but now, even though you practice all the Western things, or you can say that Jugaad ideas and all those things, still you are not able to sustain your buildings. Right? The buildings are not that quality what we had earlier. My ancestral property in North Karnataka is more strong compared to the house where I am living. Right? So what is the reason? Again, that could be a demonstration saying that work and this is not working. That way you can motivate Gen Z and Gen Alpha to go back to the Indian knowledge system. So regarding digital well-being also, we can just experiment, we can just gather data from Gen Z and Gen Alpha, then we can document it, then we can say that digital well-being can be obtained or simply achieved through Indian knowledge system practices. Okay. So what are the research opportunities for generation Z? So sustainable consumption or investigating whether the principle of Parikana influences environmentally responsible purchasing behavior. Purchasing behavior, we know, many institutions they are saying that they are the plastic-free zone. Okay, plastic-free zone. Instead of saying that plastic-free zone, you can popularize it saying that using the indigenous products to make your campus contamination-free or environment deterioration free. Right? Then ethical decision making, assessing whether exposure to Bhagavad Gita teachings improves ethical judgment among management students. Again, we can't narrate. We should take the perception of Gen Z and Gen Alpha. You should ask them. You should say that Krishna said that you need to do this thing, then you will be a good leader. They should practice it, then they should say that it is working. Otherwise, in nowadays social media, only one saying of Krishna or whoever which is popping up every now and then, that is karma. Regarding karma, people say so many things, right? Even they keep their WhatsApp status saying that karma will not forget your address, it will come back to you wherever you are. That and all those things. Right? Many things. Whether Krishna said it, or Rama said it, or someone else said it, we don't know. But then it is floating in the social media. Right? Like that, your financial behavior, entrepreneurial intentions, all these things are taught in our Indian knowledge system. Maybe Ramayana, Mahabharata, Chanakya, Sarthashastra, right? Many scientific works are also there. There it is written. We need to disseminate that particular knowledge to the students. Then regarding Gen Alpha, we can explore about value-based education using Indian stories. It always works. When it works with us, why don't it work with our Gen Alpha? Right? Maybe schoolally they may forget or they may not be practicing, but then in our home still it is practiced. You go, the Gen Alpha population, when they go to their grandparents, Panchatantra helps them to understand the things. Right? Vikram Beta stories help them to understand the concept. Why that can't be brought into the campus once again? When we were kids, around 40 years back, there used to be a separate place meant in the campus wherein we used to practice the agriculture. Every student used to have sow one seed of a plant. And till that student is there in the campus, it was his or her duty to take care of that particular plant. Of course, at that time, the campus used to be very big. Nowadays, campuses are also becoming shrink, right? But still, we can practice using the pot. Now, you can like just say about hydroponic and all those things, right? That could also help the students to learn the things. Then, yoga and concentration among school children. Let me tell you one thing. I think many of you might be knowing. The yoga is used as a therapy now. Okay. And counselors who used to give the counseling based on yoga, they are charging in thousands or in lakhs. And people who don't know about these things, we go and end up paying those charges over there. Whereas yoga is a very common knowledge among Indians. Right? So what we are doing in day-to-day activities, some of the things are the asanas of yoga. That again it need to be generalized and generally communicated to the people. Regarding Ayurveda and gamification of Indian knowledge system. Gamification, again, it's not a new thing to us. In Gurukula and all, you would have seen the gurus used to send their shishyas for acquiring certain things, right? That is nothing but experiential learning or gamification of the teaching, right? Again, it should be brought into back again, but then simply without consulting with this Gen Z and Gen Alpha, if you bring it into the curriculum, they won't accept it. Okay. You need to conduct studies, empirical studies, wherein students should say that yes, if I learn by this gamification, my knowledge is more strong compared to the bookish knowledge, then we can bring it into the curriculum. So there arises the importance of empirical studies. Then cultural identity, environmental ethics, and digital discipline using yogic principles and all. These could be studied on your Gen Alpha. Then what research methods you can use in order to conduct all this research. It may be quantitative methods like surveys and all. You just consult the Gen Z and Gen Alpha regarding their perception regarding various aspects of Indian knowledge system. First assess their awareness, then go for, if they are not aware, create awareness. If their awareness is created, ask them to practice. If that is practice, what is the result? That should be documented. Then we can say that we are contributing something to the Indian knowledge system. Either we can conduct case studies or grounded theory or ethnography or going to a particular community wherein 100% healthy people are living in some tribal area. 100% healthy people. They don't have any physical ailments. Unlike nowadays, sometimes pregnancy is also kind of being treated as a disease. Nowadays. Right, every now and then that lady has to visit the hospital as if she is sick. Okay, whereas in the earlier tradition it was normal. Right, it was a common thing. Right, so there are many such stories, right, which could be discussed, and the myth has to be eliminated, and what is truth has to be brought to the light. So interdisciplinary collaboration also works. Like management researchers can collaborate with your chemistry department or your AIML department, CS department, mechanical department. Then they can conduct the studies. How mindful usage of the machines can improve the productivity in the organization. We manufacture machines, but then what about the skill set of the person who is using the machine? How responsible he should be? We forget. Right? How that can improve the utility of the machines can also be a study. Psychologists can combine their studies with management or any other stream. Data scientists, yes. Data scientists, I will give you around 1 crore data regarding Gen Alpha's perceptions regarding usage of mobile phone. Now you need to come out with a beautiful model which says that, or whatever will be the result. They are very inclined towards the usage of the technology, or they are using it because they don't have any other alternatives. They don't have friends, they don't have parents, they don't have even the grandparents, and no support in the classroom. Because of all these things, they might be using the technology. So if that is empirically tested, then we can come up with certain acceptable results. Now after that we can say that some of you who are aware about Porter's 5 force model about the industry. Industry ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ aspects affect ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, right? So alternative to Porter's 5 force model, there was something in IKS. Okay, 7S framework is there in Western theory. Alternative to that, it was available in our IKS. We need to popularize that, we need to write papers on that, publish them and document them. Right? So, all these could be tested and just documented. So how universities can contribute in this regard? They should have some IKS research centers, they can go for case writing laboratories, industry-based field studies, living laboratories for sustainability, like this higher education departments or colleges can think about opening all these things. There they can conduct rigorous studies about the, not only about Gen Z or Gen Alpha, but empirical studies could be done. So the conclusion of this particular talk is that Indian knowledge system is rich, no doubt that. But how we are popularizing it is questionable. Okay. We have come to a stage wherein what used to be a common knowledge now it has become a treasure. Okay, scarce resource. Allah, earlier many examples our teachers used to give us. Now you are seeing the tigers in the forest. Okay, your next generation might see tigers in the photo. Okay, your next generation can next generation can see the photos of tigers in the social media. And the day may come in entire nation you will be having only one tiger. Right? I'm referring to only one animal. It can be understood as anything. Peacock, lion, or even the what you call small bird which used to visit our balcony, sparrow. How many sparrows we are seeing now? Here again this campus is good. Far away from the cities, pollution not. You may witness certain sparrows here. But then what about the campuses which are there in the center of the city? Sparrows would be only models, right? So such things you need to show and you need to popularize, or you need to the researchers' responsibility is to make Indian knowledge system more practicable, more adaptable, and more result oriented. Then we can say that we are delivering our purpose, and the purpose of putting so much of investment in developing IKS and popularizing it will be resulting in good things. With that, I am going to conclude my topic here. I will be happy to take questions from you people if you are having any doubts or any clarifications. Thank you. Sir.
We can motivate the student as a present how to motivate.
Motivate students to write the research papers.
Staying, how to know, involve them, how to make them to realize.
It's not at all easy, sir. It's not at all easy. Because you could see, again, even taking the example of the colleges itself, when we say that we are going to a conference in IIM or IIT, which is focusing on AI, financial behavior and all those things, our management will support very well. When we say about IKS, what you are going to say in IKS? Are you eligible? The eligibility is question, first thing. Okay, am I eligible to deliver on IKS? Then, when nowadays it's not motivating the people to conduct the research, it's about questioning the eligibility of the researcher to do the research.
But in this paper,
Yes,
may come across various papers, no?
Yes, sir.
With that, and how is that to fill that gap?
Motivation and the motivation should be there, sir. Something need to motivate them, and all of a sudden you can't motivate them. There should be at least 20 to 30% quality among them regarding what we call respect to the IKS system, our interest. Then we can motivate them. But all of a sudden, a person who is totally dependent on
Can
study.
you identify the group of people as per you?
As I told, I identified those and connected, and like that we have some communities. Even I am doing research in IKS only. Few papers are already published.
So who are oriented, they can.
We need to frame the community. We need to be connected. Then we can conduct the research.
No, I have a small question connected to what was asked. How to motivate the Gen Z or Gen Alpha, whatever you are referring to, get into IKS projects or do the publication. But what is the role of the guide to motivate these students or bring these students to get involved in this kind of projects?
The first thing, sir, what I have noticed here is, let us not use the terminologies which are in Sanskrit.
Correct.
First thing. Because we motivate our students to learn Japanese, all those things, but then not the Sanskrit. Since they are not readily learner of the Sanskrit, it's very difficult to ask them to comprehend those words which are written in the Sanskrit. The guide's responsibility here comes is convert those words into common usable language. Either it is in your normal language or what you call in which you communicate, or the university acceptable English language. So make it and make the examples very practical. Then the researchers would come forward to take up the research. If I am not wrong, in case of ESG, many such concepts will be applied. So there we need to take up research based on Indian knowledge system, wherein what our ancestors did to protect the environment, how they protected the entire ecosystem. That could be again. We need to show them the proofs, like how it used to be there. Then they come up to take up the research. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your wonderful insights. Now I request our respected principal sir and the speaker Dr. Preeti ma'am to take over the momentum and open up conversation.
Yes, sir. This is very important. Thank you. If you promote some paper, then that will be a big one. Yes, sir.
India's traditional knowledge in architecture and agriculture reflects centuries of innovation, sustainability, and harmony with nature. To share her valuable insights on this important subject, it is my pleasure to welcome our own esteemed speaker, Professor Bhavani Mandavana, Associate Professor in the Department of Civil Engineering at Bangalore Technological Institute. Her postgraduate research focused on elastoplastic analysis of layered beams with higher order deformation theory, reflecting her strong research background in structural engineering. She has a keen interest in IKS, particularly in traditional architecture and sustainable construction practices. She is actively guiding students in academic projects, technical activities, and field-oriented learning, inspiring them to integrate traditional knowledge with modern engineering solutions. We are delighted to have her with us today. I now request Assistant Professor Nitish Kumar, Department of Mechanical Engineering, to welcome Bhavani ma'am with a bouquet. I now request Bhavani ma'am to kindly deliver our insightful address. Let us all welcome her with a big round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. I feel honored to speak at this IKS conclave on traditional knowledge in architecture and agriculture. I thanks VDI management, organizing committee of IKS conclave for giving me this opportunity. Coming to what is traditional knowledge in architecture and agriculture. It is the knowledge which is developed over centuries through observation, experimentation and adaptation to climate, resources, and social requirement. It should not be viewed as something as old knowledge, but re-examined, validated to solve present-day problems. Why it is relevant today? What are the modern-day challenges? Modern-day challenges are climate change, urban heat, increase in use of renewable sources, energy, increase in agricultural input, loss of biodiversity. These challenges make us to revisit traditional knowledge, re-examine traditional knowledge and validate, document to adapt to the present need. So my first section is IKS in architecture. What are the fundamental principles of traditional knowledge in architecture? Old traditional practices were climate responsive and they focus on orientation for maximum orientation to sun and wind direction for maximum sunlight, ventilation, natural lighting, courtyard planning, local material. They focus use of local material to reduce the energy consumption in transportation and embodied energy, thermal comfort, as well as water conservation. Architecture doesn't restrict itself to construction of building. It also includes water conservation and water management. Climate responsive use. Since in India have diverse climates like hot and dry, warm and humid, cold regions. What are the features? Building features in hot and dry climate. Buildings have thick walls, courtyards, small opening, and shadings. Thick wall to protect. Thick wall act as a barrier. It absorbs sun heat. Courtyards help in ventilation, providing cool atmosphere. Small openings block sunlight. Shadings like sajja, balconies for ventilation. Warm and humid places have large opening to allow more breeze, cool breeze inside. Verandas for outdoor sitting. Sloping roof for quick drainage of snow and rainwater. Cross ventilation, providing window opposite to each other or windows opposite to doors. Then coming to cold regions. Cold regions have compact planning, like small rooms in square or circular shape, so that it provides more volume for given surface area of wall to keep the inside warm during cold times. Special focus was given for solar orientation and insulating material were used for constructing walls. Modern relevance, presently these features are incorporated in passive designs of building, relying less on heating, ventilation and air conditioning system. So, some of the photos like Rajasthan desert Haveli, hot and dry region with jalis which will allow cool air to come in and provide diffuse sunlight but block the sun. Then Kalpuni of Himachal Pradesh is a structure which is made up of stone and brick bands without cement mortar. It will keep the interior warm in cold times and cool during summer. And sloping roof for quick drainage of snow. And it is dry stack masonry without cement mortar. Then Nalpittu of Kerala, where it has central courtyard. See the central courtyard, so that hot air will rise and it will promote circulation of cool air inside the roofs. And use of local material like laterite stone, clay tiles, and timber. Then another feature of traditional architecture is courtyards. Courtyards for natural lighting, natural ventilation, shading, thermal evacuation, and it also acts as a place of social interaction. So as I say, architecture is not restricted to building, It also includes traditional water management system. We can see lot of traditional water management systems like step wells, johars, ponds, temple tanks, rock cut reservoir of Bholavira tank, rainwater harvesting. These methods of water harvesting help prevent flood, drought, and provide safe drinking water and water for agriculture. Like saucer shaped pond. This type of ponds we can see in hot places like Rajasthan, Gujarat, which will provide cool drinking water and also act as storage of water conservation. It will improve groundwater levels. Johars, johars are earthen check dams. Step wells, these are beautiful architecture step wells. We can find lot of step wells in hot places, especially hot places like Rajasthan and Gujarat. These step wells showcase layered steps descending downwards.
No. No, next.
아니.
I thought if you get nice pictures from. Yesterday also.
So, descending states, these structures not only conserve water, these are the community center for social interaction, public meetings, and have intricate stone carvings. Even the water, since it is down, water evaporation is preserved because the water surface is not in direct touch with sun and wind. Case study. One of the case study, restoration of a step well. Recently, a 300-year-old step well at Mudga village of Belgavi has been successfully restored by volunteers of Pyas Foundation and IKS enthusiasts. It is a 83 feet deep structure with 53 steps. And the uniqueness is the layout of steps is such that if you see from aerial view, its aerial view is like a shivlinga. And while excavating, within 70 feet they have found active springs, and the structure is made up of basalt stone with the binding material like lime, sand and jelly, and it also have traditional arches. So this is the structure where there was debris and waste was collected some years back. Recently, mid of 2026, it has been restored by Pyas Foundation, and You can see it is made up of basalt stone. It is a step well. Such restoration work not only preserve our cultural heritage but also provide source of sustainable water system. Now coming to Vastu Shastra. What is Vastu Shastra? Vastu Shastra actually it is an Indian architectural treatise which help in designing, constructing, building, such as to create balance, harmony, and draw positive energy. What are its core principles? Its main principle is to align the building, orient the building so as to take maximum advantage of sunlight and ventilation. Proper orientation with cardinal direction, optimal use of sunlight, climate responsive design. It is harmony with 5 elements, Panchbhutas, Jal, Vayu, Agni, Dharti or Akash. Vastu Purush Mandala. Vastu Purush Mandala. It is a Vastu means site, Purush means cosmic man. Mandala is the geometric grid. It is 9 by 9 grid which is used for positioning rooms, planning rooms. It was previously used for palaces and temples, and now it is even used today for home planning. Vastu Shastra is also used for placement of water bodies and open spaces. So this is Vastu Purush Mandala. It have 9 by 9, 81 squares. Each square is assigned to a particular deity, and mainly it is used for position of rooms. Some of the iconic, there are so many, our India is blessed with so many architectural cultural heritage. In that some I have taken, like Brihadeshwara temple of Tanjavur. Brihadeshwara temple of Tanjavur. It have 200 feet high Vimana or tower, we can say, and the top you have one monolithic granite stone of 80 tons. It is said that much heavy 80 tons of granite stone was placed at the top using 6 kilometer long ramp. And the granite is not even available at that place. It is being transported from 50 kilometers away from that site. And another thing is shadow mystery. Some people, the massive Vimana does not cast any shadow on the ground, even at noon time. Actually, the upper part of the pyramid, shadow of upper part of pyramid is found on the lower side. And the structural stability, where does it get? There is no mortar used in the construction of this structure. It is made up of interlocked granite stones, and the stability comes because of the interlocking and transfer of load from the top to the massive stone foundation and plinth. We can also see massive Nandi. Next, Sun Temple of Konark, Odisha. It is a 13th century. It is actually a colossal chariot with 12 pairs of intricately carved wheels and 7 riding horses. What does it symbolize? Chariot symbolizes sun's eternal movement across the sky and the never-ending cycle of time and energy. 7 horses, it represents 7 days of week, 7 vital energy, 7 colors of sunlight. 24 wheels or 12 pairs of wheels represent 24 hours of the day, 24 fortnights of lunar cycle, and the cosmic cycle of time. These wheels are also designed as sun dials to measure time. The temple is designed such that the entrance and the sanctum is in one line, and on specific days the first ray of sun falls directly to the sanctum. It acts as a sundial with 8 major spokes and 8 minor spokes, and again the minor spokes are divided with 6 beats. So time can be measured with an accuracy of 15 minutes. Conclusion: modern technology cannot replace traditional wisdom. Traditional wisdom cannot replace modern technology, but we can create buildings which are energy efficient, resilient, and culturally meaningful. So, coming to my next section, traditional knowledge in agriculture. So, what are the traditional agricultural practices? Some of the traditional agricultural practices are crop rotation, means growing of crops in sequence, mixed cropping, planting different crops in a given area, on-farm seed selection, saving indigenous native seeds which are tailored for microclimate and ensuring genetic resilience, agroforestry. Agroforestry means integrating trees into farming landscape, like in coconut and pepper of Kerala. Also integrating livestock with the farming, protecting sacred groves. Sacred groves are patches of forest which are protected, which are untouched because of cultural and religious belief, and maintain biodiversity and ecological balance. Community system. Traditional agriculture practices believe in collective labor sharing, knowledge sharing, and tool sharing. Organic input. Instead of using chemical fertilizers and pesticides, use of organic pesticide, green leaf manure, or bioenhancers like Panchgavya, farmyard manure. Soil and water conservation through terrace farming, contour farming, crop rotation like growing of wheat, bajra and pulses in rotation. Mixed cropping means planting different plants in a given area. Traditional method of grinding, and old traditional containers. These containers are made up of mud and clay to store grains. Temple granaries. Temple granaries, also known as example pottaram. These temple granaries, known as pottaram, these granaries were used to store paddy, pulses, other grains, and to ensure food availability during drought, famine, and floods. This showcased the foresight of our ancestors in planning for food securities. Granaries have thick wall and are constructed on raised platform, which will protect the grains from pests and insects. Even today, these concepts inspire us to design disaster-resilient food storage system. Traditional method of extracting oil, traditional method of pulling water. Ahar pines of Bihar, where Ahar central pond is known as Ahar, and the canals from the Ahar are known as pines for irrigation and other purposes. Current system, it was discovered in Bidar. It is found in Bidar to transport water from higher level to lower level through underground tunnels was used as pipes and water was transported in hilly area from higher hilly area to the agricultural place drop by drop drip irrigation, and it is practiced over 200 years in Meghalaya. Now modern technology. In modern days we can see drones for crop health monitoring, GPS, sensors to see soil moisture. What is contemporary modern relevance of this alignment with agroecology? Now we are again going back to organic farming, natural farming, regenerative agriculture practices. We are integrating modern tools like GIS, GPS with the and GIS for mapping water structure and empowering farmers through community seed banks, digital catalogs, and to preserve and share indigenous knowledge, watershed and tank rejuvenation, market opportunity. So we can see that by thoughtfully blending empirical traditional knowledge and modern practices, we can cultivate agriculture ecosystem that are ecologically sound, economically viable, and culturally rooted. With this, I end my session. And thanks everyone for patient listening.
Why you find agriculture and architecture?
Because an engineering part, these are some topics like this. They are not related, so both are different divisions.
Case study.
What is common in both is both are focus on sustainability, climate.
How it was and how we can now. People knowledge. How the techniques were used at that time and now present days. That is the idea of your topic. Agriculture concept if you take olden methods and present methods comparing and the knowledge system you need to grow. That is the
It's
idea.
an olden days organic farm, organic fertilizer, and we can use with modern GPS drones.
So knowledge system that people need to understand what was at that time and need to improve that. That is the idea. That is the comparison you want to make it here.
Yes.
You may think of light energy also. Traditional light lamps, how they are using people. Presently, how they are using. Possible you try to lighting, light energy.
Light energy.
Previous world people they are using something lamps. Some other oils and are using. Another thing there. Very old and people are using for oil. For burning light to get to night. Nowadays, that will become current. I don't know. You are connecting architecture to this agriculture.
Both are different. Both are different. Both are different.
No sir, why architecture is enjoyed with agriculture is because olden days they were granaries. Those things are that is why she related. Otherwise it's got nothing to do with energy and light.
Okay. Light is not included. ಅವಾಗ ಬದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ
Gents which are facing it is like
Thank you, Bhavani ma'am, for an excellent presentation on traditional knowledge in architecture and agriculture. We appreciate your insights you shared on sustainable practices rooted in our tradition, and we are grateful for your time with us today. I now request our principal sir to please come forward and present Bhavani ma'am with a letter of appreciation. Thank you, sir. I request all the dignitaries, faculty members and participants to join us for the lunch. Once the lunch is finished, we can come back to the next session. Thank you.
Nandini ma'am, time.
1:30. We'll be back to the seminar hall at 1:30 p.m.
It's already one.
If you want to go early, come early.
Are you sure you want to stop?